Hello everybody, Gisele Grenier here. So in this video lesson, it's going to be about transparent red iron oxide, and it's a buy or DIY. Now with transparent red iron oxide, it's a phenomenal color for glazing and for vintage, steampunk art and all that stuff. For my particular case, Decor doesn't make it anymore. So once I've used up what I have, that's it. I either go to another brand, which I would use M. Graham. Their paints, though, they're a little bit more expensive, but I would go with theirs because they have a beautiful transparent red iron oxide, or make it myself. So let's get to what we've got. Understanding the color wheel is key. And it's not key, it's critical to knowing how to make up this paint. Transparent red iron oxide is a more intense version of burnt sienna. Completely different pigments, but just so you see where they sit on the color wheel, it's a neutral that's more on the red-orange side. On the orange side, it's intense and it's transparent. Well, to make it up, we obviously wouldn't use any of these colors over here because this would just dull it down. We don't want to dull it down. We want to keep it bright. We also have to think it's a darker pigment, so would we go into the Hansa yellow lights and just Hansa yellow? Probably not, because these are really light. And this Hansa yellow light being yellow that leans towards green would probably have an opposite effect. It would dull it down. So I've done this so many times, I know exactly how to make it, but I want to go through the process with you of how to figure it out. If we think we see this color and we're going to ask ourselves those darn questions, what color is it? Well, it's a brown. It's a brown. That's it, the neutral color. Where does it sit in the color wheel? Okay, well, it's a brown, so it's a neutral, but it does go somewhere. Does it look like it has blue? No. Does it look like it has violet? No. Does it look like it has green? No. You can only go one of two ways. You can either go this way or this way. So as we start working this way, we could look here, and this is where you might want to add white to see the true underlying color. Going through that exercise, which we did in the last few videos, I know that it leans right in here. And depending on the brand, yours may lean more towards one color or another color. Mine leans right about here. So I know that I have to work with oranges with this. Okay, well, orange and what? Well, why don't we take the base of burnt sienna? Because that's the closest thing that comes to transparent red iron oxide, burnt sienna. So we'll use that as our base. Okay, is it lighter or darker? It's darker. Is it brighter or duller? It's brighter. Okay, so we ask ourselves those questions. And comparing it on the color wheel, no, this needs to go more onto the orange side. It's brighter, it's darker, and transparent red iron oxide is more orange. A lot more intense. So by asking us those questions, ask ourselves these questions, we can get an idea where we want to go on the color wheel. My thing with this is I would start with a burnt sienna base right off the bat. You could make up a mix using a red, a yellow, and a blue. Then you have to figure out which red, which yellow, which blue. You can make your own burnt sienna. Why bother? Burnt sienna is a core color in my palette, so I'm going to use burnt sienna as my base. I can then say, okay, well, if I need to make it more intense, I want to use an intense color. So I am going to be safe using any of these colors right here because they are intense. Okay. Well, I need to have it. You know, I know it's on an orange side, so obviously that cancels out permanent alizarin crimson. Naphthol red is still a little bit on the blue side, so I'm not even going to bother with that. So I know that I can go with naphthol red light. I can go with Paranoid orange. And I know that I can use Hansa yellow medium because I've done it in a previous video. Could I take Hansa yellow medium and naphthol red light to make up my orange? I don't know. Why don't we give it a try? We also have to make sure it stays transparent. Transparent red iron oxide, that's the key. So I've got the paints here. So I'm using Decor Traditions, Naphthol Red Light, Paranoid Orange, Hansa Yellow Medium. I've got transparent yellow iron oxide here, burnt sienna, and then I actually have the transparent red iron oxide right over here. So why don't we put that right here. So we'll put that right there. You also have to make sure that you understand that transparent red iron oxide, the one that I'm using, is a single pigment. I will never be able to come up with an exact match. You can't take 2 or more pigments and color match to a single pigment. It just doesn't exist. I'm going to add white. It's like taking milk and turning it back into cream, or taking, I don't know, you're kind of reverse engineering it. Let me add white. That probably didn't make any sense. Milk into cream. You can turn cream into milk. Can you turn milk into cream? Okay. So by doing our analysis, if we take burnt sienna, that's going to be our primary. And I would basically do this all right on the palette. You don't need to do it on the chart. If you've never done it before, do your mixes on the chart as well. You can do your mixes here, then put them on a chart and make notes. And then white. The white so we can see the true underlying color, so we can compare. So just to make the job easier, let's compare to start just with the, oh, it didn't make enough paint. Let's just start with and compare the underlying color. Okay. Well, by adding white, of course, you're going to lose the transparency, you're going to lose the intensity, but it just gives us an idea. Do we need to shift the color? Yeah. Burnt sienna is not as bright as transparent red iron oxide. Also, looking on the color wheel, it shifts. I see a lot more orange in this. Okay, that gives me an idea. So if I take burnt sienna, which is opaque, if I make it transparent, will Paranone orange be enough to make it transparent? I don't know. We'd have to try. Well, not everybody has orange. What if I took naphthol red light and enhanced yellow medium? Is that going to be enough to make it transparent and shift it to orange? I don't know. We'd have to try. And I'm looking now, and I don't even know why I put transparent yellow iron oxide on there. That's going to dull it down, so I may not even use this. So why don't we start with naphthol red light and enhanced yellow medium? How much? I don't know. We have to make an orange. So let's just start with equal parts. And this now has just become a red-orange. Let's add more yellow. Go to the side. Well, that one's not too bad. There we go. That's not bad. So if we just go here and put this here. Notes. Transparent red iron oxide plus titanium white. Burnt sienna plus titanium white. I just put my hand in there. And this is naphthol red light plus Hansa yellow medium. And I use more yellow, so it'll be plus Hansa yellow medium. All right, so if we take this, let's take a little bit of burnt sienna on the dirty brush, and let's just go over here just to get something on there. Let's mix it a little bit more orange. Let's go over here. Oh, no. So we have to ask ourselves the questions again. So this is, we got to burnt sienna to that. So we ask ourselves a question. We're comparing to this now. Is it lighter or darker? It's lighter. Is it brighter or duller? Keeping in mind when you're looking at it, when you look at it, it says, oh, it's not as bright because this is darker. So it's not really. The intensity level isn't too bad. It's not too bad. So I'm going to say it's pretty close. The intensity is not too bad. It could be a little bit brighter. So it's too light. The intensity level is not too bad right now. Where it sits on the color wheel, comparing the value, because this is dark, is going to affect my judgment of where it sits in the color wheel. This sits really on the orange side. I think I might need to do a little bit more on the red side. Transparency level is not too bad. So why don't we add white to see the true underlying color? Okay, I can see that. First of all, that's too much white. I wonder if I can... So we're comparing to this now. Okay. I think I may have added a bit too much white in there, but it's also way too yellow. So if it's way too yellow, what can we do? Well, we don't want to make it too more red or too more yellow or whatever. Why don't we just add a bit more burnt sienna to that? I'm just going to work down right into the value. Problem with adding burnt sienna to it, we're going to lose the transparency. We added white, so we're losing transparency right there. But that's just, I have a way that you can get that transparency back. So comparing those two, this is actually not bad. Add a smidgen more burnt sienna. Oops, I think that might be a bit much. I think that might be, oh no, maybe not. We have to wait for it to dry. Okay, so this was here. Plus burnt sienna, plus burnt sienna, plus burnt sienna, plus burnt sienna. Okay, so it's just we went down burnt sienna. Let me take some transparent red iron oxide with some white and put it right beside. Try to get roughly the same value. Try to get just this, try to get the same value. Removing the white. Look at that. What do you think? What do you think? The only thing is that this one here is much more transparent because we took transparent red iron oxide and then just added white, where the other one, naphtha red light, semi-transparent, hence yellow medium, semi-transparent, burnt sienna is opaque. And then the white, but we added white to both. What could we do with this to make it a little bit more transparent? Please don't say add water. This is where the addition of mediums come in. So depending on what you want, we can use a matte medium or we can use a heavy gel medium. Depending on the resulting finish that you want. The paints that when they dry, they're kind of a matte finish, the paint. So I would stick with the matte medium. A lot of times what I do is I take matte and the heavy gel gloss, mix them together to get satin. So let's take a little bit of the gel medium there, the matte medium. And I have no idea where the mix is, so blah, 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 blah. Which one is it? It's this one here, I think, right? Is that it? You know what? I better make it from scratch. So we know that it was more burnt sienna. And I don't know if I have enough orange in there. Nope. So at least you're going to see now exactly how I have to go through to match the color. That's actually pretty good. Okay. Now this is pretty opaque because we use burnt sienna as the base, which is opaque, naphtha red light, which is semi-transparent, anti-yellow medium, which is semi-transparent, and then the white, obviously. I'm not worried about that. To make that more transparent, just add a medium to it. The medium won't break down the strength of the pigment. There we go. And there's our transparency, even with the addition of white. So that's just with, you know, doing the values to see. Doing it with the actual mixture, you basically get an idea. So from what I gathered, 1 part burnt sienna, 1 part naphtha red light, and I think 2 parts burnt sienna, 1 part, no, that's 2 red. So 2 parts burnt sienna, 1 part naphtha red light, a bit more on the Handsy yellow medium. How close is that? Not even going to add white to this. Bit more burnt sienna. Let's do a bit more red. So what I gather, let me just put a, no, that's not orange enough. It's not orange enough. So it looks like it's equal parts burnt sienna and Handsy yellow medium, and then 1 part, no. Oh, come on. Let's try that again. Equal parts of burnt sienna, naphtha red light. So it'll be 2 parts burnt sienna, 2 parts naphtha red light, and 1 part Handsy yellow medium. Let's try that. Nope. Oh wait, it's not dark enough, so I'm going to add more burnt sienna. So 3 parts burnt sienna, which is my mix. We'll try this one. We'll try this. I think it was this one. There we go. Okay, 3 parts burnt sienna, 2 parts naphtha red light, 1 part Handsy yellow medium. That's what I'm going with. And to get some of the transparency, matte medium, whatever medium you want to use. There it is. Might be a little bit much. Okay. That took a lot of work, didn't it? Well, now I know how I can make it. So 3 parts burnt sienna, 2 parts naphtha red light, 1 part Handsy yellow medium. What happens if we just use orange? Well, okay, let's try. Let's write it down first. 3 burnt sienna, 2 naphtha red light, 1 Handsy yellow medium, plus matte medium. So if we take burnt sienna, and then let's start off with the equal parts of pear and orange. Pear and orange is transparent. So, well, why don't you look at that? Look at that. Huh. That's white. So I'm getting it to this one here. It's a little bit more on the red side. It's a little bit more on the red side. A little bit duller too, just a speck. So it's likely that the orange isn't quite the right orange. What if we add a little bit of yellow to that? Ooh, Gisele. Too much yellow. So you could add a little bit more. No, I'm not liking this. I'll be comparing it to that. I'm not liking that. No, no. So this is a no-no. This is plus Handsy yellow medium, and I'm going to be cross no, no, no. So I'm going to stick with this one here. The Paranone orange is actually not bad until you add the white. So it's fine using it as is. So burnt sienna and then Paranone orange. As is, it actually works out pretty well. But as soon as you add the white to it, you can see the true underlying color. There's a slight difference. This has a bit more red in it. So it's likely that the orange just isn't quite the right orange. That's up to you. So is it worth buying transparent red iron oxide or making it yourself? Make it with 3 parts burnt sienna, 2 parts naphthol red light, 1 part Hansa yellow medium, and then add matte medium to it. Or burnt sienna and Paranone orange. Use it as is, as long as you don't add white. If you're using transparent red iron oxide, you would not be adding white to it. So what would I do if once I run out of this? I'm just going to make up my own. I don't use it enough anymore to warrant going out and buying it from somebody else. I would just rather make it myself, because now all these different mixes that I've got some really inspiring mixes in here. Can you imagine what these would look like without adding white? They look really, really cool. So if I'm going to mix it myself, am I going to use burnt sienna and Paranone orange, or burnt sienna, naphthol red light, and Hansa yellow medium? Which one am I going to use? If we take, how did I do this before? It was 1 part naphthol red light, and I think it was 2 parts yellow, right? Like I'm expecting you guys to answer me through the microphone. I do that all the time. Was that the orange I was using? No, I think it was a bit more yellow than that, wasn't it? There we go. Okay. And then burnt sienna. Where did it go? So a lot more burnt sienna. Yeah, face value, this is a really nice one. So if taking the 3 parts burnt sienna, 2 parts naphthol red light, 1 part Hansa yellow medium, and then the matte medium, which I'm not going to bother, that's just a transparency, just looking at the actual color. That's basically what we're going for. Just looking at the color now, don't look at the transparency. So it's the orange. That's the judgment. So my mixture is more on the red side. My mixture is more on the red side. That's why it works so much better. Not that much of a difference. So if it's more on the red side, so could we take Paranone orange and add a bit of red to it? We could. And this is why I absolutely love color mixing, because you can experiment till the end of days. You could just keep going and going and going and going. It's up to you how far you want to take this. Let me just add another layer there. Wait for it to dry though. So could we take Paranone orange, add a speck of red? And then basically now what we're trying to do is color match to this one here. Still a little bit too orange. Oops. That's not too bad. Oh, shoot. Oh, I think I went there. You know what? Now I don't know where. I'm making so many mixes here. I don't know where I'm going. Paranone orange may be just the wrong. It may be just the wrong one. There we go. It may be just the wrong one. Yep. So I'm going to add a little bit more red to that. There we are. So this tells me that transparent red iron oxide, the DecoArt one, is maybe not so much on the orange side, it just maybe a little bit more. So burnt sienna is a red orange, opaque, Where transparent red iron oxide, I would say it's a red orange. That's just transparent and a bit darker. So there we go. So can you see now, you got to do these experiments to really get it on, hands on, get your hands dirty and do the work to really understand. Look at all these beautiful colors that we made here. So in a span of half an hour, with all these experiments, I would still turn around and make it myself. I wouldn't go out and buy a different brand. Right now, once I run out of these, I'm not going to panic because I know I can make it myself. Any color that's out there, you can make something similar. But if you had to color match, if you were told, I want you to paint this that's with transparent red iron oxide and you're going to get paid $5,000, but the color has to be exact, go out and find transparent red iron oxide. Don't try to color match it. Unless you absolutely have to, unless it's mandatory, you can make it yourself. It's not that hard. But the basic formula, 3 burnt sienna, assuming burnt sienna is PBR7, 2 naphthol red light, assuming it is PR9, 1 Hansa yellow medium, assuming it's PY73, you're going to be fine. Or taking burnt sienna, Paranoid orange being PO43, and a speck of titanium or naphthol red light. So burnt sienna, Paranoid orange plus naphthol red light. So there you go. So that's how you have you have to ask yourself those stupid questions that I even get sick of hearing. Okay, even I get sick of hearing because I'm thinking, oh God, these people are going to get so frustrated. Ask yourself those questions because that's how you analyze. Analyze, mix, apply. Analyze, adjust, mix, apply. Analyze, adjust, mix, apply. I don't care if you've been painting for 45 years. You're still going to go through touching up, tweaking the color, putting it on. Does it look right? I don't know. Mixing it up. You're still going to go through that. And master artists do go through that. They don't get the mix bang on the very first time. Unless you're John Singer Sargent. But you see my point, right? Do the work and then you'll be able to commit to memory and you'll be able to make your adjustments a lot faster. Alrighty? So I hope that you enjoyed this. I love to see your charts. If you don't have transparent red iron oxide to compare to, you can go to the DecoArt website and you can do a search there for transparent red iron oxide. They may still have some available, but you can look at the color swatches there, or just go to MGram or even another brand and look up their transparent red iron oxide, as long as it's PR101. That's critical. And you can try to color match to that or color match to mine. Okay, so that's the one. Tilt that to the light. That's the one right there. Okay, so comment below with any revelations that you had with this. I did with the Paranoid orange. Any aha moments you had with this. If you've got pictures to post, if you're watching this on YouTube, you must go to the description, click on the community, which will bring you over and you can post your pictures there. And any questions you can ask over there as well, because you can't post pictures on YouTube. All right. So I look forward to seeing your charts, and I'm going to clean up and get ready for the next video, which is creating our burnt sienna hue string. This one is a lot of fun to do. I love doing this. It really gives you an idea of what you can do when taking the one color and mixing it with every single color you have in your palette as it is right now. So I look forward to seeing you in that lesson. Until then, stay inspired.